Welcome to the podcast From Coffee to Cases, the show for small law firm attorneys who want to stop begging for leads and start building a business that runs on referrals and real relationships.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast From Coffee to Cases with Delisi Friday. Delisi is the founder of First Call Friday, where she helps lawyers grow their firms through real relationship-based referral marketing, not billboards, not PPC, and not gambling on ads. My name is Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about why getting to know your referral attorneys as people, not just professionals, is the foundation for referrals that last. Delisi, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Hi, thanks, Kevin.
So why does it matter to get to know your referral attorneys personally?
Sure. So I think it matters because when you can start to create a professional relationship where you know more about someone, you are able to create a more long lasting relationship with them. So if I start to know you more than just the person who's sending me cases for referrals, then our relationship's going to last a lot longer. I like to describe referral marketing kind of like dating. And you get to know someone, and the more you get to know them, the more you become connected to them. So I see referral marketing like that. If you want another analogy, it's kind of like planting seeds. Think
Mhm.
of planting a seed when you're creating a professional relationship with someone. You're watering it, it's getting some sun, and then eventually it grows into something beautiful. And it's a lot harder for someone to end that relationship because you've put so much time and energy and effort into it. And that's what helps those relationships last.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that a lot of people though feel awkward or phony, when they try to do that. And not everybody's great in social situations, but what are some simple ways that a lawyer can build a personal connection, even if they're like feeling a bit awkward about it?
Honestly, it just comes down to listening to the person and thinking about how you can create that relationship with them. And so I like to do a lot of thoughtful gifting where if I'm having a conversation with someone and they say something that makes me think of a gift, then I will send them a gift because they made me think of them. Or
Mhm.
if I hear something or read something that I think that person would enjoy, then I'll share it with them. So if I don't know, if I have a referral attorney who says, you know what, I really love George Strait. If George Strait is in the news because he's going to come out with this once in a lifetime concert, then I'm going to think, oh, you know what? Kevin loves George Strait. I'm going to send him this link and say, hey, Kevin, did you hear George Strait is going to do this really great concert? I thought of you and I wanted to share. And so sometimes if you ask enough questions and you start to create that long-term relationship, then when they say something or when you hear something or when you read something, it becomes much more natural for you to reach out and say, "Hey, I saw this or I read this and I thought of you." And those are really little things that make a big difference.
Not a George Strait fan, Talisi.
You're not.
Great fan now. I'm not.
Oh, he's the best.
That's okay. Music is for everyone to enjoy. How can simple personal questions like that, or maybe asking about something like weekend plans or something like that, how does this help build stronger referral relationships?
Yeah, so it's actually, I think the best way for us to do that would be if we role play a little. Can we do a
Sure.
little role play? And I
I
think that'll
mean,
help.
let's do it.
Okay. So, Kevin, what are you going to do this weekend?
Well, I have a very packed weekend. Tomorrow, my kid has a soccer game in the morning, and then I'm going to a gala that night.
Oh, wow. How long has your kid been playing soccer?
This is his first season. He did some classes, and he just really took to it. He's only he was almost 5, but he's really taken to soccer. Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, how exciting. And the gala, what kind of gala are you going to?
It's like a black tie event. It's for it's a fundraiser for a wildlife sanctuary, and a friend of ours is a member on the board, and so they're having a gala. So we decided to get dressed up and head over.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a great weekend.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Okay. That right there is a great way for you to learn about someone else. It's a very natural question to ask. What you and I just did are what people do every single day.
Right. Yeah.
So, the example that you gave, your son is in soccer, he's 4, about to be 5, you're going to a gala, a friend is a part of the wildlife, organization hosting it. I learned so much about you
Right.
when you shared that answer. So I encourage lawyers to just ask simple questions like, "Hey, what did you do this weekend?" or "What are you going to do this weekend?" Because the answer is where you get to know someone and you can write those things down. And then the next time you and I talk, I can say, "Hey, Kevin, how's your son enjoying soccer?"
Hmm.
And that little comment right there tells the other person, "Hey, they listened. Hey, they're being thoughtful. Hey, they care." And those things are really important when you're trying to create relationships that last.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's good. That was very specific then too. Because people like talking about what they do most of the time, so you can get really specific and learn about them. That's a really good point. I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes you might get more information from an assistant than you will from a lawyer. They know more about the schedule, the priorities, the preferences. Do you recommend attorneys try to build that trust and rapport with a referrals attorney's assistant as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, there are some lawyers who won't answer like you did in that role play. They're like, I don't know, ask my wife." And that's their way of answering, but not really answering.
Right.
And sometimes you don't have the ability to talk to them because they've got so much going on. So I'll give holiday gifting as an example. When I used to be in house, I wanted to make sure during the holidays I was sending thoughtful holiday gifts. I didn't want my gift to just get thrown away in the trash. And so what I would do is I would personally call the assistant of my referral partners and I would say, "Hey, Joan, I really want to send Kevin a great holiday gift, but I don't want it to be a holiday gift that he just throws away. I want it to be something that he loves and he's really going to like. If you could suggest something for me to give that he would really love, what would you suggest?" And the key there is the assistant, I promise you, well, unless they're new, is definitely going to know what that person loves. They're going to know all the things they do on a regular basis. They're going to know all the things that might not be something the average person would know. Only someone who sees them on a regular basis would know. And when they can give you that information, you can then send a gift that makes sense and is something that person's really going to enjoy. I'll give you an example. There was one time where I asked the assistant what I should get one of my referral partners, and she laughed and she said, "You know what, Delisi? I know it sounds silly, but a Keurig coffee maker." And I was like, "A Keurig coffee maker? Why would I send him a Keurig coffee maker?" And she said, "Because every freaking morning he comes to the office and the Keurig coffee maker has been broken forever. But no one has bought a brand new Keurig coffee maker. So he gets here and he's upset because we don't have the Keurig anymore." And so I was like, "This is brilliant. That Keurig is gonna cost me less than $100. It's
Hmm.
gonna get there, and my referral attorney is gonna be like, 'Oh my gosh, the Keurig coffee maker is here.' And you know what's even better? He's going to use it. And every time he makes himself a cup of coffee, he's gonna think of me,
Yep.
which means I'm top of mind. Every morning that man pours his cup of coffee, and that's exactly what I want. But I never would have known if I hadn't called that assistant. I'm like, what should I do?"
Hmm. Yeah, that's like the generic gifts that get sent out by companies a lot of times. I mean, they're very thoughtful and it's nice, but they're very generic and
Yeah.
they're not memorable.
Yeah, agreed. Well, and
Yeah.
the assistant also wants you to send something nice because the assistant doesn't want to see the same thing all the time.
Right.
They should care about the person they're supporting, so they want to help you.
What about doing your own research? Like getting on someone's social media, doing some online research, learning about them a little bit. Is that a good way to kind of I don't know. Is that a good way to go about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, not everyone has an assistant.
True.
That's the reality of it. So the example I just give, it's only going to apply to some attorneys. I love to use the example in Monsters Inc. There's a part in the movie where the monsters are like, "We creep because we care."
Hmm.
And so when I talk with lawyers, I tell them, "We creep because we care." This is a great time for you to say, "Okay, I know nothing about what to get Kevin, but you know what? The law firm has a social media page. The attorney himself or herself might have a Facebook or a LinkedIn, or they might have a Instagram page. You can go online and find out so much about a person if they're putting it out there." And so, what I like to recommend to lawyers is, hey, if the person you're trying to send a gift to and create a relationship with doesn't have an assistant for you to call, okay, we creep because we care. Go
Hmm.
online and see what you can find. You can probably learn a lot about someone. Maybe you see in the law firm's social media pages that Kevin always has a UT Longhorns polo shirt on when they do Casual Friday. Okay. Well, now I know Kevin is probably an alumni of UT. I could look that up on the State Bar website or the law firm's bio page for that lawyer. I could go online and say, okay, what kind of UT Longhorn gift could I give Kevin? Because clearly he's wearing this UT polo in all of these pictures online. Maybe I get him a UT polo. But if you go online and you look for that information, it's easy for you to find if someone is sharing it. So I think going online is a great way for you to find out more about a person, especially because so many people are putting that information out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's yeah, you're right. It's an easy way to kind of get some details that you wouldn't normally get in a conversation. But one of the things I'll say is that I feel like when I can tell someone's listening to me, it goes a long way, right? Like I feel like we're also used to just in one ear out the other. We have so many distractions, so many things coming at us, so many people looking at their phone while you're talking to them. How can lawyers pay attention to both what someone says and what they do? How can they really show that they are actively listening?
Yeah. So first, you have to listen. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
guess
can,
that's
I
true. You
can
got to
give
do
you
it.
all these examples, but honestly, the first part is you do have to listen. And so creating these referral relationships is a good reminder how important it is to listen when someone is saying something.
Yeah.
And then be a human. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. So I'll give you another example. I had a referral attorney one time. I had to call him and give him an update on a case, which is actually a great way to stay top of mind with your referral partners. And sometimes it generates another case in if you give them a case update. So I gave him a case update. I did what you and I just did. I'm like, so what do you have planned this weekend? And he told me his son had a big baseball game that he was going to have during the weekend. It was like a tournament of some kind, but it was a big deal because his son had never been in this baseball tournament before. And so I had the referral attorney's cell phone. And what I did was the next day after the tournament, I sent him a text and I said, "Hey, how did your son's baseball tournament go?" And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you remembered. He did great. They won. We're so excited. We went out afterwards. He was on cloud nine." And it was because I listened,
Hmm.
and then I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I put a reminder on my cell phone. I
Sure.
had this little alarm that went off on Sunday, and I was like, "Don't forget to text, who, and say, 'Hey, how was your son's baseball game?'" But that little action, and it's just a text message, that little action told him, I listened and I cared. And so just listening and thinking to yourself, what are things that I can do to follow up with someone and show them that I care goes a really long way. And a simple text can really mean a lot to someone if you listen and put that into action and follow up.
You've also associated yourself with a great moment in their family, right? You've kind of
Mhm.
you've attached yourself to a really exciting thing. So subconsciously
Yeah.
that has weight too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mhm.
I think we all know that we've had business relationships where the maybe the person is a little too chummy, and you're just like, all right, dude, we're business partners, like we just work together in business. Let's just chill out here. What is the right balance between that personal and professional, sort of relationship so that it feels genuine and it doesn't feel like you're, I don't know, coming on too strong for lack of a better term.
Yeah, so I will tell you that that's something that I struggle with a little bit, and it took me a while to learn it because, I mean, Kevin, we're on a podcast. I'm not shy about anything.
Right. Me
So
neither.
you put me in a room, I'm gonna go talk to everybody.
Right.
But I also learned, and funny enough, there are trial lawyers who are putting themselves out there and talking to groups of people all the time, but you get them in a smaller space and they're introverts and they're not really sharing as much as you thought they would. So what I do is I try and be a bit of a chameleon and adjust to my setting. So I will mirror and match whatever kind of energy they're putting out there. If I can tell someone's a bit more reserved, I'm going to tone down the extra Delisi that I typically am because I don't want it to be too much.
Yeah.
And if someone's got a lot of energy and they're really open, great. All right. We're going to have a ton of fun. And so I really think about who it is that I'm talking to and I pick up on their signals. I'm paying attention. Are they kind of closed off? When I ask them a personal question, hey, what did you do this weekend? And they don't really answer. I'm like, okay, I can tell those questions are not really going to be questions they want to answer. Instead, I might switch that and say, so, Kevin, what made you decide to be a probate attorney? And I might ask those questions related to work and try not to go too much into the personal questions
Yeah.
because I can pick up, oh, okay, this person's not really going to be giving me a lot of that. The other part of it is when you have a professional relationship with someone else, eventually at some point you might meet their spouse. And so, what I will do is if I'm in an environment with their spouse, sometimes it's like yin and yang and opposites attract. And so the referral partner might be kind of closed off and not share a lot, but their spouse could be the total opposite.
Right.
So if that's the case, then I'm like, okay, well, let me go talk to the spouse and see if I can get a little bit of information from the spouse. And that's been another way that I can do it. But I really just pick up on the environment, I
Hmm.
mirror, I match, and I use that to determine, okay, what kind of energy is this person putting out there so I can make sure I don't make them feel uncomfortable.
For those you mentioned, the introverted person, maybe the person that's not giving you all that much. If that person tries to start networking, that could potentially be their absolute nightmare. For a lot of the people like that, it is. What are some low pressure ways that they can connect personally with referral partners?
Yes. So I had a client this week actually where I said, "Hey, you should go to this," and it was an event, and she was like, "Mm-mm, no, Talisi, don't make me do
Not for
that.
me.
I hate that." She cringed. She like I could
Yeah.
see it in her shoulders. She was like, "Ugh." And so I said, okay, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about one on one activities. What are things you can do where it's one on one? Because usually the people who don't like to go out and network are totally okay meeting someone for coffee, going to their office to say hello, or um, using something to communicate with them that doesn't require being in person. So
Yeah.
for that attorney, I'll say, okay, let's send a text. Text can be meaningful, which we just described earlier. Let's send an email, share the same information by email as well. Again, if it's something that adds a value and shows you listen and you care, that can be really impactful too. And then um being consistent. Those things are one to one. Just because they're smaller, just because you're not meeting with a lot of people, doesn't mean that that's not going to be impactful. Small actions on a consistent basis can still really benefit your business, and it shouldn't be thought of as less than because those one on one conversations and touch points can really create a better relationship for you and your referral partner if you continue to do them.
Absolutely. Great advice as always, Delisi. And thank you for tuning into today's episode of From Coffee to Cases. Strong referral partnerships aren't built on business cards, they're built on actual real relationships. If you're ready to grow your firm with a system that works, visit firstcallfriday.com. And don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe so you never miss one of our episodes. Delisi, it's always so great chatting with you. I'll always love what you have to say. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And please share this episode with a peer who can also benefit from case referrals. For more information or to connect with me, Delisi Friday, visit firstcallfriday.com.